Okay guys, welcome back again. Shukri Hamid, the Sensei, with Johan Hamid, the global property investor. And today we're going to talk about a very complicated and also very controversial subject, which is debt. Now, I've grown in a traditional family where mom and dad always said, don't go around borrowing money from people. You got to pay all your debts quickly, and you have to pay all your debts before you die. But there are people here who allegedly believe in debt, and one of them is Johan. So let's hear his story of why he thinks that debt is actually good versus bad.
Thank you very much, Shukri. We are now, of course, in Kuala Lumpur, as you can see. I got introduced to the notion of debt when I was very young, and I personally never borrowed money to buy a car. When I was young, when I was 18 or 20, I just bought a junk, and that was it. Cash, of course, because I've been working doing student jobs since I was 7, 8. And what's interesting about debt is that there are two kind of people. People who just go into debts, whatever, and people who say, oh, debts are not good, avoid debts. And then you have the people in the middle. If you want to know about debts, it's very simple. There is one simple rule to recognize a good debt from a bad debt. And you say it's complicated? Yes, but I know how to simplify things. You've seen recently, right? Good. A good debt, contrary to a bad debt, is a debt that creates cash flow. And when I say cash flow, it means it's the debt will create some income for you. And ideally, that debt, which is costing you money, which is generally speaking a mortgage, if you talk about property, you pay the mortgage, but the rent is higher than the bank repayment, your monthly repayment. So if, like, good example, you buy a building, you put some down payments, it could be an apartment, and you put a down payment, and your monthly payment is 500 euro, US, ringgit, Thai baht, lira, British pound. If you're paying 500 every month and your rent is 600, it's already a positive cash flow of 100. Now, some people are happy with that. I say, no, I don't waste my time for that. If it's not like more than, if it's not more than 300, I will not go in. And usually, I'm quite right, because anything can happen, and then you have to discount for vacancy, for maintenance, and things like that. So, of course, one debt that is really bad, and I've seen it very closely. I've seen some people very close to me using it, is the credit card. Do not use the credit card to buy cars, to invest. And I mean, even if you are really good, not worth it. Not worth it, because ultimately by end of the month, pay your debts, pay your credit cards. Another debt that is not so great, but it depends how you use it, is the car debt. Right. So if you can't afford a car, why should you buy a new car? Sometimes it makes sense. I remember in the 90s in Asia, it was making more sense to buy a new car than to buy a second-hand car, because the second-hand car was nearly the same price as a new car, even if the car was 2 years old, and you were getting better financing with a new car, and you were getting a much better car. So in certain cases, it makes sense to buy some cars with a debt. But again, be careful if you start talking about leasing, and that's another topic we could talk. Leasing, there's some very good leasing, some very bad leasing. It is going to be more expensive. Ideally, if you don't have money, get a second-hand car. Usually the bank will allow you to get a loan if the car is less than 3 years, some countries 5 years, it depends where you are. And that's the way to do it. Remember, if it's a building, good debt, creating cash flow. Now, don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap. to say, oh, I own a house. My house is creating, I'm paying the mortgage every month, but your house, it's an asset, but it's a non-producive asset. So
Correct.
it's good to have a house, but it's better to have another house that you rent. Some people, I've met some young investors, what they do, they rent, because the country, in their country, the rent is very low, and then they buy good deals, and then they rent the good deals. So that's how they make money.
Okay.
And when you are young, that's something you should look at it.
Correct.
So that was our little
Income producing assets.
Yeah, and
yes.
so be careful as always, and always put a down payment. And if you can't afford it, wait, save. I'm not a big fan of savings per se unless you have a goal. Save with a goal, because if you don't have a goal, then you're just saving.
Yes.
It's better to have savings, create some income with the saving, meaning put it down on some property or some generating assets, and then profit from it. And then in 20 years, when the money will be worth nearly zero,
Correct.
You'll still be paying your mortgage, or you'll finishing paying your mortgage. But remember, at that time, one coffee that was $1,
Yes.
you know, it's going to be, I don't know, $10. So the money will be worth nothing.
Yeah, correct. So if I want to impress my girlfriend with a good car and credit card, it's a no-no.
It's a no-no. But
there goes my love life.
Shukri, you can buy a car.
See, another thing that I have to ask Johan is, see, that's why you're right. I've always looked at how my house can make money. For example, I live in a condo, but in my condo, I get access to a meeting room facility where I can hold classes. Now, if I don't have that condo and I have to rent a meeting room, and looking at similar facilities around KL, if it's near where I am now, in the middle of the Golden Triangle, it's going to be like 3,000 ringgit a day.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit far, it's going to be like 2,000 ringgit a day. So how I argue this out, if I have like minimum of 4 or 5 days where I need the classroom, then if I do not have my condo, it will cost me like 15,000 to 12,000 to 15,000. I have to fork out anyway. Now, does that count as good debt, or is this medium debt?
Well,
or is it on the borderline somewhere?
Let's see it this way, Shukri.
Yeah.
Would that be sufficient to pay your your facilities?
Yes, it would.
So basically, you're using that to pay your facilities. So it's good. You get a discount. Good man.
Correct. Good man.
So you guys, you take good care.
Yeah, good care. Yeah, look for a good deal that pays you back.
All the best to you guys.
All the best to you guys. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.